One game. That was all it took to make a world champion look human. France, the tournament favorites, the swaggering machine. The team that walked into this World Cup with its chest out and its medals already polished, spent 90 minutes staring into the face of a country most of the analysts had scribbled off before a ball was even kicked. Paraguay, ranked outside the top 40. Written into the bracket as a warm-up. A speed bump. A photograph. This is something we have not seen in a generation. A side with no superstars, no marquee striker, no billion-euro spine, dragging the reigning kings of world football to the very edge of elimination. And if you think this was just one of those chaotic World Cup nights where the ball bounced funny and the favorites got jittery, you have no idea what was actually happening on that pitch. Because what Paraguay did to France was not luck. It was a plan. And it very nearly worked. Let me take you into the stadium. The lights are on. The anthem is thunderous. Kylian Mbappé is at the front of the French line, jaw set, eyes locked forward, the captain's armband pulled tight. Around him, the most expensive collection of attacking talent on the planet. Griezmann, Dembele, a midfield built like a fortress. A defense that had not conceded more than one goal in a competitive match in over a year. Across from them, in red and white stripes, a Paraguay side whose entire starting she was worth less than one French substitute. The pundits had called it 3-0 France. Maybe 4. A gentle stroll, one commentator said in the build-up. He said, and I am quoting him, Paraguay will be lucky to leave with their dignity intact. He had no idea how wrong he was, because within 90 minutes the entire footballing world was staring at the scoreboard in disbelief. Now, on the surface, this looks like one of those freak World Cup nights. A tired favorite. An inspired underdog. A goalkeeper having the game of his life. But the second you look behind the curtain, the picture completely changes. Because Paraguay did not just show up and get lucky. Paraguay had been building this ambush for 18 months. And France walked straight into it. Start with the tactics. Head coach Gustavo Alfaro, a man who has spent his entire career being underestimated, set his team up in a shape that looked, to the untrained eye, like a bunker. 5 at the back, 2 holding midfielders, a lone striker isolated up top. The classic parked bus, right? Wrong, because the second France crossed the halfway line, that shape morphed. The wingback stepped up, the midfield squeezed. Suddenly, France's playmakers had no time, no space, and no passing lanes. Mbappé, the fastest player on earth, was being funneled into the touchline every single time he received the ball. Not once, not twice, every single time. Think about that. The most electric attacker in world football, neutralized by tactical geometry. Then there's the numbers. France had 68% possession. They took 22 shots. And they registered exactly 3 on target. 3, a team averaging 2. 4 goals per match in qualifying reduced to 3 meaningful attempts across 90 minutes. Paraguay, by contrast, took 9 shots. They hit the woodwork twice. Their striker, 22-year-old Diego James, missed a one-on-one in the 71st minute that would have sent shockwaves through Paris that people still would not have recovered from. Sit with that for a second. Paraguay were 10 centimeters away from knocking out France. And then there's the detail that really tells you how far gone this French performance was. In the 83rd minute, with the score locked at 1-1, the cameras caught Didier Deschamps on the touchline. Arms folded, jaw clenched. Not shouting, not gesturing, just standing there absolutely frozen. Watching his world champions get bullied by a country of 6 million people. If you know the look, you know the look. It was the face of a manager who had run out of answers. The equalizer itself deserves its own chapter. 67th minute. France leading 1-0 through a scrappy Griezmann finish. Paraguay win a throw-in deep in their own half. What follows is 14 passes. 14 across the pitch. Through the French press. Into the final third. And it ends with a header from center-back Gustavo Velskez that ripples the top corner. The Paraguayan bench erupts. Alfaro sprints down the touchline, fists clenched, screaming into the night sky. And on the French side, silence, real silence. The kind you only hear when a favorite realizes the script has been torn up. One equalizer, one header, one moment that rewrote the entire tournament narrative. Now let me put this in historical context, because this is where the story gets genuinely staggering. In the entire history of the World Cup, Paraguay have played France exactly twice before this. They lost both. They have never, in their 100-year footballing history, taken a point off a reigning world champion at a World Cup. Never, not once. And going into this match, France had won 17 consecutive competitive fixtures against South American opposition ranked outside the top 20. 17, a streak stretching back over a decade. Read that carefully because it is extraordinary. Paraguay did not just draw with France. They ended one of the most dominant historical trends in modern international football. And they did it with a squad whose combined market value is roughly 1/15 of France's starting she. A factor of 15. Sit with that number. A factor of 15. So what happens now? Because this is where it gets really interesting. France now have to win their final group game against a Denmark side that is already qualified and will rotate half their squad just to guarantee top spot. If they slip and the group finishes level on points, they could drop into second and land themselves a round of 16 tie against a resurgent Germany. Deschamps knows it. His players know it. The French press knows it. And over the next 6 days, every single training session, every press conference, every tactical tweak is going to be dissected under a microscope the size of the Eiffel Tower. The problem? Paraguay's group is now wide open too. A team that was written off as tournament filler is suddenly 2 points from the knockout stages. Diego Giménez, the striker who missed that one-on-one, is now the most talked about young forward in South America. And Alfaro, the manager nobody outside of Latin America had heard of a week ago, is being tipped for jobs across Europe. Now let me be fair for a second, because this channel does not deal in fantasy. It is entirely possible that France were simply having an off night. It is entirely possible that Mbappé, carrying a knock from the previous fixture, was operating at 70%. It is entirely possible that Deschamps had one eye on the knockout stages and set his team up to conserve energy rather than dominate. All of that is possible. But that is exactly what makes this a nightmare instead of a footnote. Because world champions do not get to have off nights at World Cups. They do not get to conserve energy against opponents ranked 40 places below them. They do not get to draw 1-1 with Paraguay and call it a controlled performance. The whole point of being the reigning champion is that you set the standard. And on this night, the standard was set by the team in red and white stripes. Brick by brick, this is how dynasties crack. Not with one catastrophic defeat, but with a draw that should have been a win. A goal conceded that should never have been conceded. A striker missing a chance that should have buried the game. Brick by brick by brick. And France, for the first time in this tournament, look like a team whose foundations are shifting. Because when your captain cannot get a shot off, when your defense gets pulled apart by 14 passes from a team that was supposed to sit and absorb, when your manager stands on the touchline with no answers, the aura is gone. And in tournament football, the aura is everything. You do not win a World Cup by being the best team on paper. You win it by making the other 31 teams believe you cannot be beaten. Paraguay just told the other 31 teams that France, absolutely, categorically, can be beaten. One equalizer did that. One header. One night. Now, I want to hear from you. Was this the moment the French dynasty officially cracked? Or was it just a wobble that Deschamps will fix before the knockouts? Was Paraguay's performance the tactical masterclass of the tournament? Or did France simply gift them a point they did not deserve? Drop your verdict in the comments, because I read every single one, and the debate on this one is going to be brutal. Subscribe, if you have not already, because we are only halfway through this group stage and the Giants are already stumbling. There will be more upsets. There will be more sackings. There will be more nights like this one. Trust me, this will not be the last time a favorite gets dragged into the mud by a team nobody saw coming. Paraguay were meant to be a photograph, a speed bump, a gentle stroll. Instead, they became the team that nearly destroyed France. And somewhere in a quiet corner of that dressing room, Gustavo Alfaro is already planning the next ambush. I'll see you in the next one.